Hello and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Today I want to talk about 5 top mistakes parents make in addiction recovery process. How parents actually become enablers. They actually do not put enough emphasis on the addiction and its process it must take, but yet enable the addicted, in this case probably the either teenage child or young adult child. So these are the 5 top mistakes parents make in addiction recovery process. I want to give a shout out to Larry Geist from the Geist Academy at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. Give Larry Geist a call. If you have addiction issues, you need help with a recovery plan. If you have life issues, give him a call at 516-485-2741. You can go on the internet. Look him up at www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist from the Geist Academy. Let him help you with today and tomorrow. He will also tell you it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is where you're going. So get a hold of him right away. And when you do call him at 516-485-2741, tell him you heard about him on the Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. GlobalEyeglasses.com, let them focus on saving you money. Folks, if you need eyeglasses, whether it be full frames, half frames, or no frames at all, go to www.globaleyeglasses.com. If you have a prescription and you need lenses, whether they're bifocals, single vision, whether they're no line bifocals or with a line, whether they are transition or photochromatic or polarized, whether you want those lenses thin, whether you want them shatterproof, whether you want coatings like UV 400 coating or anti-reflecting coating, go to www.globaleyeglasses.com and you will see that their prices are about 70 to 80% less than your freestanding brick and mortar local optical store in your town. Go to www.globaleyeglasses.com, and folks, here is the great thing. Not only are you a member of my audience that watches me, but you get to also see those videos. But here's the great thing. If you need help placing your order at www.globaleyeglasses.com, I have over 30 years experience in the optometry business. I will help you place your order, but you need to text me 631-599-0218, or you can call my hotline number, which is 844-405-HELP. That's globaleyeglasses.com. Let them focus on saving you money. Top 5 mistakes parents make in the addiction recovery process. Top 5 mistakes parents make in the addiction recovery process. When facing addiction with family, parents sometimes make grave, and I mean grave, mistakes. Despite their best intentions, it can be very difficult to make the right moves and decisions that will help the addict but not enable their addictions. Here is a list that I'm going to discuss of the 5 top mistakes that parents make dealing with addicted son or daughter. Number 1 on the list is enabling them to remain addicted. Over the past 2 years, with my videos, with my shows, with my websites, my message to parents of the addicted has always been the same. Never, ever make it easy for your son and daughter to remain addicted. This means different things for different families. I have seen parents at their wits' end with the addicted son or daughter, only to find out that they are still paying for their car, their cell phone, their credit card bills, their housing, and spending money. If there is not a practical reason to change your course of living, then why would you want to change? In other words, let me break that down. If you're addicted and you keep getting what you're used to getting, why would you want to make changes? We, as people, have a natural and direct response to pain that has been installed to us since birth. When we feel pain, we naturally respond by looking at the place that hurts and we begin to seek healing. However, if we never feel the pain in our life, then there is not a reason to seek the healing. If we truly want the person to be healed from their addiction, we must step aside and allow them to feel the pain that addiction will most definitely cause them. Number 2, allowing the addict to choose their course of recovery. Many times I have witnessed parents who will discover their son and daughter has been struggling with addiction, and they make the mistake of allowing the addict to choose their own method for recovery. A lot of times I have discussed this on my shows where an intervention or a strong, non-negotiable, alternate recovery plan is necessary. Let's see, where were we here? Instead of trusting the advice from a professional or a parent, the addict somehow gets the opportunity to choose their own addiction. This is a problem because the addicted person usually will pick the most unintrusive program available. While outpatient programs are effective and serve the most important person, they are not always the best place to start their road of recovery. Places like addiction rehabs offer a comprehensive approach to recovery that walks people into lasting recovery at the pace that has proven successful for years. They start with an assessment of the person, followed by treatment of the addiction, and then the transitional living program where the addict can ease back into their own life. Addiction can be compared to breaking both legs. If you break both legs, the first thing the doctor will do is reset the bones and place them into a cast. The cast serves as a purpose of restricting movement so that the healing process can begin. The same thing needs to happen in the first stages of recovery. We need to have time of restriction and solitude in order for the healing to start its process. After the bones have had a chance to heal and the doctor removes the cast, you would not want to run a marathon the same day. You would not want to run a marathon the same day. You would want to ease back into full movement and use of your legs. This is also true with the addiction recovery process. After treatment, we need a season of transition where we ease back into pressure and stresses of life. Because let's face it, we have used drugs or alcohol to assist us in the stress to help us cope with the pressures of life, and we hope to live the freedom from addiction. We need to ease back into life with the accountability and the support of a program. Break it down. When you break both your legs, a doctor resets the bones and then wraps it up in a cast, which restricts your bones from moving. The same should apply to your addiction process designed for your youngster, your daughter, your son. They need to be restricted, like the broken bones, and then the process of healing will happen. And then the doctor will eventually take the cast off the legs, allowing movement again to your legs. The same process of recovery or recovery process should happen with your children. After what you feel has been a sign of some sort of recovery process, then allow movement again. Number 3, listening to the noise. Another mistake made by parents is listening to the noise. The noise is all the kicking, the screaming, the denial, and the blaming that addicts do when confronted with the reality of their addiction. We must understand that the disease of addiction does not want to be defeated, and if the addiction senses that it is about to be uprooted and disposed of, we will begin fighting back. It is always hard for parents to block out the noise because they truly love their son and daughter. However, this is why paramount that parents seek the advice of trained professionals to help them distinguish between the noise and true cries for help. Number 4, punishing the addiction. With some parents, they become so frustrated and angry that they begin to punish their loved ones' struggle with addiction for their actions instead of helping them find treatment for their addictions. I know that it is difficult. However, we must see addiction as a treatable disease and not just a behavioral problem. You see, when we see addiction as a disease, it changes the way we respond to the symptoms. If someone in our family had diabetes and began to get dizzy due to the low blood sugar, we wouldn't get angry or punish them. We would simply see to that they received the help that they desperately needed. Most addiction rehabs see addiction as a disease that affects the mind, the body, and the soul of a person, and when treated, they can be set free once and for all. Last on the list is number 5, which not acting on a familiar behaviors. Another big mistake made by parents is failing to act when they sense and recognize the symptoms of the addiction in their son and daughter. I believe that God has given every parent an institution that will help them discern when something is just not right within their family. Anytime we, as parents, sense or feel that something is not right in our family, we should take the immediate action by seeking the advice from professionals. This move can be difficult because of the noise that addicts make when confronted. Anytime you sense a familiar behaviors, parents should treat this like a check engine light in your car and seek help fast. These are the 5 top mistakes that we, as parents, make in the addiction recovery process. When facing addiction within the family, parents sometimes make grave, and I mean grave, mistakes, despite their best intentions. It can be very difficult to make the right moves and decisions that will help the addict, but not enable their addictions. Here are 5 things that I'm going to go through quickly that parents make in dealing with the addicted son and daughter. Number 1 is in enabling them to remain addicted. Over the past 2 years, my message has been consistently and the same to the parents addicted. Never make it easy for your son and daughter to remain addicted. This means things for different families. I've seen parents at their wits' end with the addicted son and daughter, only to find out they are still paying for their car, their cell phone, their rent, their food. The only way your son and daughter will ever start moving past the addiction and working towards the recovery process is for you to allow the pain to have them suffer somewhat, so the pain will heal by their actions, not by yours, because your actions will not allow the pain to heal. It will just continuously feed the pain, and they will never get the help that they need. And that is what it means to enable them to remain addicted. Number 2 was allowing the addict to choose their course of recovery. They will kick, they will scream, they will do whatever to convince you not to do this, not to do that. But the perfect example is when you or I break both our legs. The doctor will reset the bone. Then he will wrap it up in a cast. Will constrict the legs from moving. And then after a healing process, the doctor will cut the cast off, which allows some movement to your legs, but not to a point where you want to go run a marathon, but to start moving. The same applies to the addiction process or the recovery process. What you want to do is, when your son and daughter has issues with addiction, is like a broken bone, you need to, as the parent, to reset them. Then confine them like a cast. I'm not saying they have to be institutionalized, but there are rehab programs that are inpatient that will confine them to give them time to heal like those broken bones in the cast. And then, after 30, 60, 90 days, that confinement, or that institution, releases them, like the cast being cut off the legs now. And then, very minimally, you want your children then, your son and daughter then, to move around towards recovery. Number 3 is listening to the noise. They will kick, scream, yell. They will do whatever it takes for you to hopefully stop approaching their recovery process. Another mistake made by parents is listening to the noise. The noise is all the kicking, screaming, denial, and blaming that addicts do when confronted with the reality of the addiction. We must understand that the disease of addiction does not want to be defeated, and that the addiction senses that it is about to be uprooted by you, by the rehab center, by the doctors, by whoever. Number 4 is punishing the addiction. With some parents, they become so frustrated and angry that they begin to punish their loved one, struggle with addiction for their actions instead of helping them find a treatment. That pretty much means is your son and daughter, they're going to have different actions due to their addiction. Don't punish their action, but look for reasons to find healing for them. If your son and daughter had diabetes and they became dizzy because of low blood sugar, you wouldn't punish them for that. What you would do is locate a doctor to get medication to alleviate that dizziness. The same applies to the disease of addiction. Number 5, not acting on familiar behaviors. Another big mistake made by parents is failing to act when they sense or recognize the symptoms of addiction in their son and daughter. I believe God has given every parent an institution that will help them discern when something is just not right within their family. Anytime we, as parents, sense or feel that something is not right in our family, we should take immediate action and do something about it right away. Anything you sense the familiar behaviors, parents should treat that like a check engine light on a car and get it checked out. You are the closest to your son and daughter, you and your spouse. You should notice and see when there are changes, whether it be behavioral, whether it being physical, but the changes that might be happening right under your roof, hopefully you will pick up on and you make the changes necessary. And this doesn't just apply to addiction, it applies to all changes within your own family. For an example, the Oregon shooting. I have to say this. I saw the interview with the father and he kind of spun the whole thing around saying it's the gun laws that caused this tragedy. I don't know if it's denial on the father's part, but I will tell you this. There is no way that my son and daughter can have 13 guns and show the signs that he was showing the neighbors. This particular shooter was showing the neighbors, and the father and mother didn't see that. How can your neighbors notice and your fellow students in school notice the odd behaviors of this shooter, but not the father and the mother? This is what I'm talking about. If you start seeing changes in your son and daughter, whether it's behavioral changes, physical changes, mental changes, do something about it. Alcoholism, drug addiction are diseases. They are not paths that people just choose for the hell of it. Nobody, and I mean nobody, decides that they just want to be drunk all day or be on drugs all day. It's an addiction, it's a problem, and it needs to be straightened out. But you as the parent need to make the changes. You as the parent need to lead by example. You as the parent are responsible to help your children. Folks, remember, a sober today, I promise you, makes a better tomorrow. And if you want to make changes, whether it's your own changes in life or changes for your children, remember that all changes only happen in very small steps. But the first step is the hardest step. Make the changes in life with the first step and the rest will follow. That I promise you. And remember that the only way to start with admitting that you have a disease such as alcoholism or drug addiction is by breaking that wall down of denial. Break it down. Let people see and hear you admit you have a problem. Let the transparency of addiction flow into your life, and then reach for your higher power and ask for guidance and direction. Folks, I hope to God, no matter where you are watching me right now, that you have the best day in your life. But I always hope and I always pray for each and every one out in my audience that no matter where you are, that you have a sober rest of life. And folks, if you call me at 844-405-HELP, I will help take you and your loved one's life back. And may God bless you.